lovers, it's Sarah, and it's time for another Terrific Tuesday challenge over on the Scrappy Moms blog, and this time the challenge is called Out of the Box. The challenge is to use the Sweet Tooth Box Cricut cartridge. If you don't have that cartridge, you could just make any kind of box or 3D type packaging. I'm going to be making the house on page 40. I've never done it before, so I thought I would just kind of do it in stages in the video because it is going to take a while to put together. So far I've cut out my base layer here, which you have to cut out twice. Don't make the mistake like I did. I wanted to use pattern paper and I cut it out and realized after I cut it out that I did need to cut it twice and I only had one sheet of that pattern. So just keep in mind you do have to cut it twice, so if you're cutting it in pattern paper you need to have two. I've cut the roof. I've cut out these window and door and flower pieces and my grass, so I still need to cut out these blue pieces for behind the windows that are on the side of the house. So let me, oh, and it suggests you cut it at 10 inches, so that's what I've done. I'm cutting it out of some pink basil cardstock, and I went ahead and scored everything and folded it just to kind of get an idea how it's going to go together. In the book it shows to put it together and then add your decorations on the house, the other pieces, and I think it would be easier to do it this way, flat. So I'm going to try to do it flat. I put a little bit of repositional adhesive on these pieces here just to kind of get an idea. Let me put a little more because this one will not stick. Just to get an idea of how it goes together, so you know more or less where the embellishments are going to go. So it's going to go together like this. It seems pretty easy once you get it started. And the sides kind of fold in like that. So anyways, the idea of this is to give to somebody who maybe just moved or purchased a new home. You know, I was thinking about maybe you could put some candles in it, or an air freshener, or a gift card to Home Depot, something like that. I thought that would be a neat idea. So like I said, I'm going to do this in stages. This is just what I've started. So I'm going to go ahead and add some things to my house, and I will come back. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and adhere my window pane piece right onto my house here. And I'm using Scotch Quick Dry Adhesive. And I'm just going to add a thin line of glue all around. Oops, I got a big glop there. I'm just going to go ahead and wipe that off because that'll gush out. And this glue does dry clear, so if you see any squishing out, it'll dry clear. Okay, and then what I'm going to do to the inside of my window is I'm going to adhere a piece of plastic. And I just use, I get clear bags to put my cards in, and that's the plastic I use, but you can pretty much use anything you have. Or you could use acetate if you have acetate. That would be ideal, but I don't have any acetate. So I just use whatever plastic I have around. And I'm just cutting it to fit the size of the window more or less. I need to cut it a little bit more narrow. Okay, and I'm just going to add ATG around my window. And then stick the plastic in. This is a really cute effect. Gives you the look of a real window. And it keeps from whatever goodies you put inside from falling out. So I don't know if you can see that it's shiny from the window. Okay, so then you need to decide which is going to be the front of your house and which is going to be the back. Because one side has a window and one side has a door. So this is actually going to be the front of my house. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere the door. And I cut out this blue piece. This goes behind the door because as you can see it doesn't cut a hole for the door. And then, sorry, I forgot it was on the other side of the room. Here is my door, and I'm going to go ahead and adhere these together, and I'm going to adhere it down to my house. I'm probably going to put a brad in there. I don't know if I have a big enough brad. I should have hid that hole in my gypsy. I might have to fix that. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. But anyways, I'll go ahead and adhere this all together and come back, okay? Okay, so I ended up cutting out another door, and I just hid where the handle would cut out because I don't have a big enough brad to cover this circle. So I cut out another door, I adhered it to the blue part. I'm just going to hold my other door over this, grab my paper piercer, and then pierce a hole right in the middle of where the door would cut out. And then I have a little brad that I'm going to stick here like the doorknob. Okay, and I'll just go ahead and close that up. And then I'm just going to go ahead and adhere this down to my house. Let me look at the directions really quick. Let's see. Actually, before you adhere the door, we need to adhere some grass. Whoops. Okay, so for the grass pieces, I've cut them out. I'm using pattern paper from the DCWV Baby Girl Stack. And I right now am looking at the directions on page 44. And it looks like where the door goes, we need to put this grass piece. And I cut it out of this really cute green glittery stripe. So it looks like this goes first, and then the door goes on top of it. Let me look again. Yeah, on page 45, it shows the door going on top of the grass. Okay, so let's go ahead and adhere the grass down first. You know, these houses are really intimidating for me anyway. Like, when I look at them, the directions look really hard. But once you get going, it's pretty easy. And for me, I just have to look at it a couple times, sometimes 4 or 5 times, before I get it. Okay, so now we can go ahead and glue down the door. Okay, so there's the, ooh, why is my, oh, okay, so my door is stuck down to my house. Now, let's see, for this window that's next to the door, we are going to put this little window box here with some flowers. And then for the window box layer here, it cuts, or I cut it out with some pink stripy paper, and that's going to go right here. And then instead of using the paper flowers here, I wanted to give it some dimension, so I'm using these paper flowers, or these yellow flowers from Recollections. And so I'm just going to adhere these, whoops, right over top of those flowers, just for some more dimension. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere those down, and then, oh, and I'm just going to use glue dots to stick it down. So I'm going to go ahead and stick all that down, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have all my embellishments on. I put my layers of my grass, I put the window boxes, and I ended up popping those up on some foam squares. And I added my yellow flowers. And then instead of using the flowers that cut out for down here in the grass, I just added some pink flowers that I had in my stash. So that's the door and one side of the house. And the back of the house is a window with one flower in a window box. And then the window on the side of the house. And from what I can tell, you only need to put adhesive in 4 places when you're putting the house together, and I'm using score tape, which my score tape came from creekbakecreations.com. I like score tape. It's super sticky, and it just tears, so it's really easy to grab a piece. It just tears off. You don't have to worry about cutting it, so it's really easy to use. So the 4 places where you need to put it is along this back tab here, along this side tab here, and then the same thing on the other side of your house, here and here. So I am going to start by taking off. Now granted, I've never done this before on this particular house, so it may be a little bit tricky, but we'll see. I played around and it didn't seem too hard, so I'm just going to go ahead and take the backing off of this. Okay, so now this is what you end up with. Side of the house, door, this side of the house, back. And then these insides come in, and this stays up like this, and your roof goes over top. Now here's my roof, and I cut it out of that same stripe paper that I did on the window boxes. And let's see, this is going to slide in. It cuts a slit down the middle of the roof. There we go. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. Can you guys see how cute it is? It's kind of hard to show in the camera, but I'll have pictures at the end of the video, and I'll probably add a few more embellishments to it. But okay, I have one more thing to add to the front of my house, and I'm going to get everything ready for that and come back. Okay, so the last touch that I've done is I've made a welcome mat, and I just took a piece of craft cardstock, some paper tray and craft cardstock, so it's kind of thick. I added the pink layer, which is the same pink layer that I cut the house out of, and then I took another little piece of craft cardstock and I stamped Welcome Home on it, and that's from the Scrappy Mom set Yankee Doodle Dandy. This is a really great set. It's got sentiments for soldiers and 4th of July. I just love that set. Anyways, I stamped on there, and then I just kind of tattered the edges a little bit. I just scraped it with my Cricut spatula to give it like a worn look, because it's supposed to look like a welcome mat. I can't remember if I told you I cut a slit right here at the bottom of my box so it could just slide under there. And I'll adhere it down better, but just for the purposes of the video, I'm just sticking it in there so you can see it. So that's looks like a little welcome mat. I think it turned out so cute. I think this would be a great gift holder for someone with a new house, or whatever you want to use it for. Like I said, you'll be able to see it better in the pictures. So the way this works, I guess, is you just pull the roof off and then you can open up your box like that. So anyways, I hope you can play along in the challenge. I'll put a link down at the bottom to the Scrappy Mom's blog so you can play along. Thanks everybody for watching, and have a blessed day.